Just don't make a scene. You made a scene, didn't you?
What is with this tension?
I couldn't help but wonder or think, and this might sound a bit pretentious, but I felt like your performance was really emblematic for me of why these Marvel films are so successful, because it's delightfully over the top and it's so funny, but it never really crosses that line between levity and laughable. You know, it doesn't become a parody of itself. It doesn't become unrelatable. So is that a really difficult balancing act, you know, playing such a flamboyant, you know, loud Russian, you know, superhero, and then still keeping, you know, a semblance of reality and groundedness in your performance?
Yeah. I mean, I think you have a lot of help, though, too, in Kate Shortland, in the editors, in the writers. But yes, it is kind of a balancing act. I mean, and I think that I think Kate plays all of us as different instruments in that ensemble. I think for some people, you know, maybe for some of the more serious actors who are amazing, maybe it is playing up that comedy. Whereas with me, ham-boned than I am, it was more about really grounding the performance all the way through. And I love the fact that Kate is such a deep person and making such a deep movie that she was always steering the comedy towards coming out of a place of pain and need to connection, you know, a real deeply psychological place as opposed to just being funny. And I think that you're right. It really, you need to have that. Otherwise it does become kind of parody. But I'm glad you found that, because I also, you know, think that the movie does succeed on that level. And it is a hard tightrope to walk, but Marvel does it better than anybody. And so, you know, I am very pleased that you think that. And yeah, it's great that we achieved that.
It still fits.
Oh my God.
I never watched it once. Come and drink.
Rise, you workers of salvation. Family. Back together again.
Speaking of those tightropes, I guess wrangling such a Russian accent must also be a bit of a tightrope as well. Also, you know, there are some greats to look up to, you know, Gary Oldman in Air Force One.
I will execute the hostage every half an hour.
All on Red Heat.
I do not want to touch his ass. I want to make him talk.
And John Malkovich in Rounders, of course, is one of the big ones.
So, that's it then. Just like a young man coming in for a quickie.
Did you draw any inspiration from any of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, yeah. But it's more, you know, it's more personal, just my relationship to Russia and to what... A lot of it starts from the character place of, like, who is this Russian guy? And he really is a Soviet. And to me, he does have a big heart in the way of like a Chekhov character or like a Dostoevsky. You know, these big Russian hearts and these big spirits. And you know, that comes in the way he carries himself. And then there's a dialect coach that comes in and you kind of build it from there. But yeah, I mean, I remember thinking about Malkovich and Rounders, and, you know, in certain scenes, he is very successful, and in certain scenes, maybe not as successful with that accent. It's a tricky accent. It's a very tricky accent.
It's a fucking joke anyway.
Natasha,
You're not just a spy, but an avenger. I couldn't be more proud of you.
You smell really bad.
Well, David, I've got to round off, sadly, but it's been a pleasure. And just want to say quickly, after having watched that beautiful Architectural Digest video with you and really appreciating the Masters of the Universe poster.
It has Frank Langella in a ton of prosthetics as a Skeletor.
I'm kind of hoping that you would be cast as He-Man or Skeletor in the next movie, because they're still casting for those parts. That would be awesome.
Are they?
So, yeah.
All right, yeah. Maybe we'll get somebody to make a call. Thanks,
Fingers crossed.
No!